Hello, people of the internet, and welcome back to Restaurant Productions, where I talk about everything comics, movies, and superheroes. So, this time we'll be taking a look at book number 3 for the history of the DC universe. So, in part 1 and part 2, we discussed and sort of went through the whole timeline from the creation of the universe to the formation of the different superhero teams, including the Justice League, the Justice Society of America, the Teen Titans, all of that. So this time around, we'll be taking a look at many crisis events, many of these big events that are taking place in the DC universe and their place on the timeline, along with the formation of new heroes and new superhero teams. So let's just get started. So after the crisis event, where Monitor and his parademons unleashed the antimatter wave, many great lives were sacrificed. Following the Flash's death in the crisis, his nephew Wally West took the mantle of the Flash and became the first sidekick to ever do so. Now, Michael John Carter, who was a disgraced athlete from the 25th century, was eager for a fresh start in the current present. As Booster Gold, he was brash and opportunistic, but he had a good heart, and his ego was kept in check by his robot companion Skeet. Kara Zor-El, from a parallel universe who was called the Power Girl, was the sole survivor of her universe after it was destroyed in the crisis. Now, young Billy Batson was granted the magical ability to transform into the Captain by saying the word Shazam. Now, Darkseid, who thought the Earth's defenses might have weakened after the crisis, launched a very calculated attack. To his surprise, even this was a failure and led to the creation of an international Justice League, with members being Batman, Black Canary, Guy Gardner, Martian Manhunter, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Captain Atom, Mr. Miracle, a Soviet hero, Rocket Red, a Brazilian ex-spy, Fire, and a Norwegian hero, Ice. Under the guidance of a business tycoon Maxwell Lord, the League expanded globally to establish several other branches, including the Justice League of Europe, which consisted of Animal Man, Captain Atom, Elongated Man, Wonder Woman, Power Girl, Flash, and Metamorpho. Now, Federal Agent Amanda Waller was aware that the League would never perform an ethically questionable operation, so she reactivated the Task Force X. Waller led the US-based espionage company called Checkmate and her very own Suicide Squad. Under the command of Rick Flag Jr., selected supervillains were forcefully made to join the team by planting an explosive implant in their brains. Now, this team included Captain Boomerang, Bronze Tiger, Deadshot, Count Vertigo, Nemesis, and Nightshade. Another ally was General Wade Elling, who could transform into a terrifying monster. Now, Peacemaker, Christopher Smith, he was also a Task Force X agent but reported directly to Amanda Waller. Then, a special agent, Sarge Steel, would report independently too. Then Robot Man brought together the latest incarnation of the Doom Patrol. The team, however, wasn't gelling well until Rebis, Crazy Jane, and Dorothy Spinner joined the roster. Not the Green Lantern of Sector 68 began visiting Earth despite everyone's advice not to do so. The Hawk lost his brother in the crisis, so he found a new dove in Dawn Granger. Another Starman entered the playing field when his predecessor, the late Prince Gavin of planet Cranolite, reincarnated on Earth in a body of a magazine editor, Will Payton. Discovering that Earthlings carry the meta gene, which could trigger superpowers under severe stress, Dominators and Khunds led a multi-species invasion to exterminate our race. Even after the Earthlings' meta-human abilities were nullified by Gene Bomb, they were still able to repel the invaders. During this invasion, Vril Dox and his allies escaped Starlag, a prison built by the tyrannical Citadel race. They began a campaign of liberation across the cosmos. Their efforts resulted in the creation of an intergalactic military organization called the Licensed Extra-Governmental Interstellar Operatives Network, which is long for Legion. With no choice but to join forces with Darkseid, a group of Earth's spacefaring heroes prevented a powerful manifestation of the anti-life equation from destroying numerous planets. John Stewart, who inadvertently allowed the destruction of a planet called Zanshi, left permanent scars on his soul. Now, back in Gotham, the Joker gunned down Barbara Gordon, putting her in a wheelchair and ending her path as the Batgirl. And he brutally murdered the second Robin, Jason Todd. Helena Bertinelli, as Huntress, also helped in the mob busting business, even though she is the heiress to one of the Gotham's most prominent crime families. Then Tim Drake, a bright boy who deduced Batman's identity, became the third Robin. Time travelers Rip Hunter and Matthew Ryder became the Linear Men, a team of chrononauts who protected the timeline and have their headquarters out of space and time at the vanishing point. Another essential time traveler was Wave Rider, who was an alternate version of Matthew Rider from a distant future ruled by the Monarch, rumored to be a past hero gone bad. In the present day, Monarch was murdered by the Hawk, which in a paradoxical twist is revealed to us that Hawk turns into Monarch in the future. The daughter of Liberty Bell and Johnny Quick, who were the World War II heroes, became Jessie Quick, who was the fastest woman alive. Later, she took the mantle of Liberty Bell and fought alongside the Justice Society, and she later married Rick Tyler, who was son of the original R-Man. Now, Ray Terrell took his father's mantle and became the Ray. In Gotham, Renee Montoya joined the GCPD and became a key player in crime fighting. Stephanie Brown became the vigilante spoiler to thwart the machinations of her father, the Clue Master. Then in Metropolis, the unthinkable happened. An alien behemoth called Doomsday killed the greatest hero in history, Superman. Humanity was not ready for a world without Superman. However, 4 men were inspired to take his place, each claiming to be the real successor of him. First was Connor Kent, who was created by a DNA mixture of Superman and his arch-nemesis Lex Luthor, who debuted as Superboy. Then John Henry Irons, who was a steel worker and an inventor who owed his life to Superman, swooped in as Steel. Then a simulacrum inhabited by a Kryptonian, Eradicator, came to Metropolis as the last son of Krypton. And finally, Hank Henshaw created a cybernetic body for him from Kryptonian technology to become the cyborg Superman. Out of the 4, it was cyborg Superman who was the wolf in the fold. In conjunction with Mongul, he obliterated Green Lantern's home, Coast City. By this time, the Eradicator had placed Superman's body in a Kryptonian healing matrix, where he was reborn and returned as the true Man of Steel. He led the other Supermen towards victory against Cyborg Superman. The loss of Coast City nearly broke Green Lantern. Fueled with a strength-enhancing drug Venom, Bane attacked Gotham City. Bane gave Batman his greatest defeat by snapping his spine, leaving him paralyzed. As he slowly healed, Bane wanted to take over Gotham City, so Batman asked Jean-Paul Valley, better known as Azrael, to take his place and became a trusted ally for the Bat family. Now, the US government teamed up with Dakota City's Alva Industries to create a new generation of superpowered soldiers. Their test runs, however, backfired when the Q-Juice laced tear gases were thrown at young protesters. Now, Q-Juice was Alva's propriety to give people superpowers. This resultant Big Bang killed many and gave other youngsters superpowers, who then turned Dakota City upside down as heroes and villains. Now, foremost among the city's defenders was Virgil Hawkins, whose electromagnetic powers helped him stand against the world's bullies and the Bang Babies gone wrong. He is popularly known as Static. Now, rival gangs fought in city suburbs of Paris Island with superpowers instead of bullets. The Blood Syndicate, made up from Bang Babies from different gangs and led by Tech-9, Wise, Sun, and Fade, restored peace to the island. Raquel Irvin discovered that lawyer Augustus Freeman was actually a Terminian alien who crash landed in the American South in the 1800s and had no way to go back home, whose real identity was Arnus of planet Terminus and had been not using his powers to help people. This changed as Raquel made him show the good he could do in this world and thus became the superhero icon. And Raquel became his partner Rocket with the help of the Terminian inertia belt. For Edwin Alva, the founder of Alva Industries, a city full of superheroes and villains was bad for business, so he put the blame on his protege for the cause of the Big Bang. Betrayed by his mentor, Curtis Metcalf put on a high-tech armored suit to seek out justice and expose his former boss as hardware. The heroes of Dakota fought bravely and brightly for a time being until they mysteriously disappeared. Then a contract killer named Tommy Monaghan was bit by an alien which activated his metagene, granting him telepathy and X-ray vision. So he became a new type of hitman who specialized in metahuman and supernatural threats. Now, Hal Jordan's mind was so infested by Parallax, the living embodiment of fear and motivator of evil, and so he eradicated the entire Green Lantern Corps. The Guardians passed the last surviving ring to a freelancer artist, Kyle Rayner of Earth, who became the new Green Lantern. Now, Barry Allen's grandson, Bart Allen, was sent to the present time to learn from Wally West on how to control his speed. He quickly earned the codename Impulse. Now, Natasha Irons, the niece of John Henry Irons, was a technological genius who followed in his footsteps, together both of them operating under the name of Steel. Now, Grant Emerson, better known as Damage, who was the descendant of Al Pratt, the original Atom, discovered his explosive powers and fought alongside the JSA and would play a vital role in the next crisis. Now, this crisis was referred to as the Humanities Zero Hour. Parallax, who now was no longer an entity as it had consumed Hal Jordan whole. An angry Hal, who was devastated by the destruction of Coast City, set out the spark for another great crisis, so he could be present at the birth of the universe and could reshape it solely in his liking. He was so far in the deep end that he manipulated Monarch, or rather Extant, which was Monarch's next evolution. Together they unleashed entropy from both ends of the time stream, from the past and the future, approaching towards present. Despite the combined efforts of Earth's heroes, all was lost until Hal's dearest friend, Green Arrow, distracted him at the last second, which allowed Damage to unleash his energies, which were fed to him by numerous heroes, to take control of the Big Bang and restore reality as much as it had been without the influence of Parallax. Now, this renewed universe was given new strength and hope as new heroes emerged. Jack Knight, son of Ted Knight, took his equipment and became the protector of Opal City, the Starman. Connor Hawke, the son of Oliver Queen, became the new Green Arrow. Batgirl, succumbing to her injuries, donned a new identity of Oracle, who became the greatest hacker and a powerful information broker. Her partnership with Black Canary and other crime fighters such as the Huntress and a time-displaced Black Hawk, Zinda Blake, came to be known as Birds of Prey. Then Hal Jordan found some redemption when the solar system was being attacked by a Sun Eater. Rekindling the sun and saving countless lives from the final night, he thought himself to be at peace. Clark Kent finally tied the knot with Lois Lane in a secret ceremony attended by many of his superhero friends. Now, this time the Justice League had a watchtower on the moon, and their members grew significantly. The younger heroes made a team of their own, including Robin, Superboy, Impulse, The Secret, Arrowette, and Cassie, and called themselves the Young Justice. They were overseen by Red Tornado and took the League's mountain hideout as their base of operation. Now, the Justice League was in shock as they discovered that their legend of heroism continued to the 853rd century, where it had inspired a superhero team called the Justice Legion. One of its team members was an android descendant of the original R-Man. Unaware that he was being manipulated by a future Vandal savage, it nearly sparked the creation of Solaris, the Tyrant Sun. When the two teams allied in the present, they were able to undo the actions of R-Man and stop Solaris. A massive earthquake broke out, so the US government burned down all the bridges connecting to Gotham City, making it a no man's land. So the Bat family had to stay on high alert and for months had to work stressfully to maintain order in the city. Lady Shiva's daughter, Cassandra Cain, became the new Batgirl during this time. Harvey Bullock, a grizzled cop, also helped in keeping the madness at bay in Gotham City. Opposing them was a maniac in her own right, the sidekick of the Joker, Harley Quinn. Then just as the city reopened, Joker delivered one of the cruelest blows by murdering Commissioner Gordon's wife, Sarah Essen, in cold blood. A new incarnation of the JSA was established, with members being the teenager Stargirl who protected the Blue Valley alongside her father and partner Stripe, and a new incarnation of the Hawkgirl who was the same yet a different person from the earlier Shera. Jakeem Williams inherited the Thunderbolt genie of Johnny Thunder and became Jakeem Thunder. Michael Holt, the world's smartest man, became the new Mr. Terrific. Atom Smasher, R-Man, Sand, and Dr. Pieter Cross as Dr. Midnight joined the JSA. As the penance for his sins, Hal Jordan became the new host of the Spectre as the spirit of redemption rather than that of vengeance. Later, Lex Luthor became the president of United States for a short period of time. Batman had been secretly engineering plans and protocols to take down the Justice League members if they ever went rogue. But Ra's al Ghul stole those files and started the extermination of the Justice League. So Batman was kicked out of the Justice League, but eventually he made his way back in. However, he wasn't quite able to regain their entire trust. Then a telekinetic and the telepathic Manchester Black led a brutal team of heroes called the Elite against Superman. While Thomas Elliot, Batman's childhood friend, put him through one of the greatest challenges he would have faced in his entire life as Hush. Then a clash between the Titans and Young Justice resulted in the death of Donna Troy, resulting in the disbanding of both teams. The experienced Cyborg, Raven, Starfire and Beast Boy went on to mentor Robin, Wonder Girl, Superboy, Impulse, who became the next Kid Flash, Speedy, Ravager, and Kid Devil, and others as the new Teen Titans. While Dick Grayson and Roy Harper, now going by Arsenal, led a team of outsiders comprised of Jade, Indigo, Shift, Thunder, who was Black Lightning's daughter, a half Amazon Grace, and later Starfire. Then, Elongated Man's wife, Sue Dibney, was murdered, which caused great distress amongst the heroes. The League also learned that earlier some members were manipulated by others to brainwash Dr. Light. Later, Sue Dibney's killer was discovered, and it was Jean Loring, the ex-wife of the Atom. These events caused great distress to the League members and weakened their bonds. Supergirl was resurrected by Darkseid, but being manipulated by him. Once free from his control, she again became the beacon of hope and light. As the parasite Parallax was driven away from Hal's brain, he was invited by the Guardians to resume his duty as the Green Lantern. Jason Todd was revived and trained by Talia al Ghul in secret, who now had no rule against not killing someone and became a merciless vigilante called Red Hood. Blue Devil, Nightmaster, Ragman, Enchantress, Zoriel, and Detective Chimp formed the Shadow Pact, who would defend Earth from dark sorcery. Lex Luthor established a team of villains called the Secret Six, where he operated as Mockingbird. Other members were Ragdoll, Vandal Savage's daughter, Scandal Savage, Cheshire, Deadshot, Catman, and Black Alice. Then, Blue Beetle discovered another one of Batman's project called Brother Eye, which was seized by Maxwell Lord, who had finally turned evil. So he killed Blue Beetle and unleashed observational metahuman activity construct drones, or OMACs, that were programmed to wipe out superhumans. Not even his death at the hands of Wonder Woman could stop the drones. The Superman and Lois Lane of Earth 2, Alexander Luthor Jr. of Earth 3, and the Superboy of Earth Prime had survived the Great Crisis and were trapped beyond the edge of reality. They found the heroes of the present who were lacking in fulfilling their duties, so entered back again to help them out. Unfortunately, the shattering of the prison walls was so violent that it sent out ripples of energy throughout space and time, causing changes and worsening the current scenarios. These events changed Superboy Prime so much that he literally killed countless heroes, including Superman of Earth 2 and current Superboy of this universe. At the same time, Alexander Luthor had activated his plan to recreate enough multiverses to cobble together his own perfect Earth. This plan would backfire dramatically. Eventually, Superboy Prime was defeated and apprehended by the Lantern Corps. Luthor's action partially restored the multiverse to 52 parallel Earths. These energies and reverberations would cause certain changes in the history of this current reality. Jamie Rare, a teenager from El Paso, Texas, became the next Blue Beetle. Booster Gold's fame rose in Metropolis. Kate Kane, who was also a cousin of Bruce Wayne, became the next Batwoman. Renee Montoya was gifted the identity of the Question after Vic Sage's death. Professor Ryan Choi of Ivy Town became the next Atom, following in the steps of Ray Palmer. Superman and Lois Lane had a son, Jonathan Kent. Then the superhero community was in a shock when they got to know that Batman has a son named Damian. His mother was Talia al Ghul. He was the deadliest child alive as he was trained by the League of Assassins. The Kryptonian criminals, General Zod, Ursa, and Non, who were stuck in the Phantom Zone, broke free from it and tried defeating Superman many times. The Sinestro Corps, who bear the yellow rings of fear, stormed the cosmos to assert dominance over the Green Lantern Corps. Despite members including Cyborg, Superman, Superboy, Prime, Parallax, and Anti-Monitor, Sinestro was still defeated. We soon get to know that there is an entire spectrum of ring bearers out there in the universe. The Zamarons had their own Star Sapphire Corps who wielded the violet light of love. Atrocitus was the leader of the rage-filled Red Lantern Corps. The Indigo tribe was powered by compassion. Saint Walker was the first Blue Lantern of hope. Larfleeze was the lone Orange Lantern, representing avarice. Then there was the Black Lanterns, who are led by the Black Hand and Necron, whose rings can bring back the dead to life as zombie soldiers. Now for the first time, Darkseid succeeds after unleashing the anti-life equation, turning all the humans into billions of soulless justifiers. It took some magnificent discoveries and a veritable team of superheroes to defeat Darkseid with the help of the super young team and the new Mr. Miracle, Shiloh Norman. The Ray broke down Darkseid's connection by discovering an ancient New God symbol on Earth. And finally, Batman breaks his no-gun rule to shoot Darkseid with a bullet made of Radion, with the help of the Flash and a special ally. Radion was a substance that was lethal to New Gods. In retaliation, Darkseid sends Batman millions of years in the past, mistaking that he killed Batman. After Darkseid's end, even more terrifying evil emerged: Mandrake, the Dark Monitor. His defeat came through two coordinated efforts: an army of supermen from across the multiverse who powered the wish-granting Miracle Machine, Nyx Uoton, and the Monitor of the Multiverse, and Mandrake's son, who recruited the Green Lanterns and the other Lantern Corps to combine their powers into a spear of pure light. Now, the special ally Flash, who helped defeat Darkseid, was Barry Allen, who thought that he had died during the Great Crisis. But he was actually trapped in the Speed Force, which is the power source of all speedsters. After so many decades, Barry Allen's Flash was finally free from his prison, but he would soon use this freedom to destroy all of reality. So yeah, book 3 ends here, and that's it. So in this part we saw all these different multiple crisis events that have happened in the DC universe, and there are a lot, man. There are a lot of crisis events in here. So yeah, we'll see what happens next when the next book comes out. So right now there are only 3 books out, so all the 3 parts are out now. You can check it out. And yeah, that's it. Sub to the channel, comment, like, and yeah, I'll see you in the next.